Hi, this is Mark Patton, and you're watching Monster Nation. And whatever you do, go to sleep. And no gloves? No gloves.
So this is Monster Nation, out on the road, our first field trip. I'm in the car with Roman. Roman, do you want to say anything?
No.
You're looking remarkably thin on film. That ought to make you feel good, right?
That's awesome.
So, okay, well, we're on the road with Roman, and in the back I've got my trusty partner. You might recognize him with the pumpkin shirt. So, Roman, how do you feel about going to see Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4?
I would feel better if it wasn't at 10 a.m.
What does A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 mean to you? That's brilliant. Brilliant. As a sound engineer, right?
It was fantastic.
Oh, you liked it? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the first one that had a really superb, beautiful stereo score, and the music and the lights are what made that such a hit.
Interesting. So you're in it mostly for Mark Patton, right?
Oh yes, that's why we're going.
I know. We're all gonna. Are you gonna be a groupie? Are you gonna throw your underwear at him? I think he
if
might
I
like
was
that.
wearing some, I'd definitely throw it at him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's project is definitely underway. There is no Jesse project, and it'd just be nice to touch base before we actually get involved with the real meat of this film.
Well, folks, you heard it here first. So we've got an exclusive interview with the sound engineer. I'm in it for Lisa Wilcox. I'm going to ask her if she can do some kung fu. So we'll check back with you guys.
Yeah, he mentioned that we're doing a podcast. In our first episode, we're doing a countdown of Scream Queens, and you're our extra special Scream Queen. So we made you
Any other questions? Yeah? Okay.
Oh, how you doing?
To David, I sigh for you.
How would I'm trying to think in the script how they spell it's S-I-E, S-Y,
Is it S-A-I?
S-I-I.
That's such a great shot of you in the movie. It's actually my favorite shot. I don't know, they did a lot of really great cinematography. The camera work was awesome. So
S-Y-Y-Y-Y.
Okay, well that's...
It's going to be spelled.
Okay, well I got no complaints, but here, can I shake your hand?
Sure.
It was so great to meet you. Thank you so much for taking the time to sign my stuff.
To David, you make me sigh. So, a little bit of cleverness on her part. Overwhelmed, I felt met one of my action heroes. So this is my favorite part of the movie, is when Freddy first comes in and she's got that wonderful hair tousle thing. So I'm kind of trying to recreate it. Roman, blow on me.
I don't have that kind of...
Did it work? Does that look like her? It looked just like her, right? Turn to the side a little bit. Yes. Sigh. Sigh. D-A-V-I-D, like the king.
D-A-V-I-P.
Thank you very much.
Mark, it's great to meet you.
Good, how are you?
You're kind of a hero for all of us.
I love that. That's why I stay on the track.
Well, it's great to have you on board. And I have to tell you, we made you that special gift. You're going to be on our podcast, our first episode. So yeah, can we get a little shout out? Okay, that's awesome.
I guess, what's this?
With love. Lots and lots of love.
Yeah, thank you.
And there you're signing goodies for me. Connie, I can't wait to meet you. I can see you signing pictures right there. And you and we're going to meet. Do you have a catchphrase that you used to use on the show at all? I know you, I don't know. I know my fondest memory of you was the one where you had the fake boobs during the Halloween episode and the guy dumped you, but don't worry.
Remember what I said? Because I don't know if I remember what I said.
I think it was fuck off, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were after 9 o'clock, so that's...
Don't worry, I've totally been there. Well, my name's David. If you could make it out to me and write me a love letter.
Okay.
So, wish I was in the back of the bus. Put David, wish I was back in the bus with you.
Okay. For any of we had some pretty risque things for back in the day.
They didn't have a clue, because my dad was usually in the basement working on a sermon. So at one time we didn't have a TV, so I was very grateful to spend my nights with the Luddick chicks. So it was a lot of the Luddick babes. So you all were. It was great. So I remember you. You were
part of your developmental childhood.
Thank you. Oh, I see you every now and then on YouTube. Someone from China, I think, put some of the episodes up. So it was very nostalgic. So. Hi, Chris and Phil. So what did you think of the experience? Was it all that you hoped for?
It was neat. It was one of my first times doing something like this. That was pretty cool.
Did you ever see it in theaters before?
No, I was too young.
Okay, good. You're of my generation. Think about her defeating him with a mirror. Was that all you had hoped for?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it was cool that, they had the mirror through the whole thing and her constantly taking the pictures down.
Right.
The mirror was the secret weapon, so yeah,
cool.
I was pretty happy.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. We were from Monster Nation, so look for us on YouTube.
There is no Jesse. So that's basically it's a backstory about Nightmare on Elm Street. There's really Nightmare on Elm Street 2. There's really a lot to it. I sort of could call it Jesse's Revenge or Mark's Revenge if I really wanted to, because I'm going to name names. There's a lot of dirt in it. It's going to be a lot.
Great. Okay, that sounds like an awesome way to slander. Anyway, well, so being somebody that was pretty much so prolific in the 80s when the genre was completely kind of in its golden years, what do you feel that the Nightmare franchise and series, not like your volume included, obviously, but what do you feel that means most to horror fans and to just like people in general?
I don't know why there's the real interest in 80s horror, but there's something innocent about it, and also I really do think it has a lot to do with CGI. I think really that we as humans recognize computer work immediately. So, and all the work in most of the horror films that really are successful from Carrie on, the work is all in the eyes. It's all in the eyes of the actors who play it. And it's like, that's what makes it scary. It's like, the minute I see like 10,000 like mutants coming over the hill, and I know that half of them have been computer generated, I'm out of the movie, I'm out of the world. And like 80s horror really sucked you in, and VCRs were new. Do you know what I mean? Like that you could have it in your house, and you could play it at nighttime, and you could stop it, and you could figure out what was in the room. That's all new territory in the 80s. I mean, before that people couldn't do it. You couldn't go to the movies 100 times. You waited for The Wizard of Oz to see it once a year. Right. So I think that has a lot to do with it, and nostalgia,
So, since like being involved in this community, do you have any of your own horror stories that you've encountered at some of these shows? Anything peculiar or really memorable?
Oh, you mean in the horror shows? Yeah, I actually, in the convention circuit, it's very weird and very trippy and like sort of very inclusive. There's like a lot of gay people out there, and it's really fun. A lot of them are closeted, but it's just a different world when you get out in Iowa and all those kind of places. The only place that I've ever been really like freaked out and offended was we were in Atlanta, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, and the sponsor was a horror house, like what do you call when you walk through a haunted house. And it was an adult haunted house. And he was doing Saw stuff, and he came through and he had his like underwear on, and there was like the butt crack, and he gets bats. Yeah, and then his underwear were all pee stained, and he would like come and touch himself, and then he was dragging this woman through in a cage, and she was screaming, "You motherfucker, let me out!" And it was so real. You know what I mean? That literally half of the actors said, if you don't get those people off the floor, we're leaving, because there was a moment where you said, maybe he really has a real girl in that cage.
Yeah, that's
because I always think that there's always, at every big major convention, there is one real serial killer walking around in there someplace. I mean, for real. I mean, there's some sick motherfucker in there, right? And it's like, who is it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Which would make a fabulous movie, wouldn't it? And then I'll tell you what I think they should do with Nightmare on Elm Street. I'll segue for you.
Well, speaking of since you were in number 2 and it is experiencing such a renaissance now, what would you say was like the most memorable like moment for you on that movie, or do you have a favorite scene? Was there any story behind that scene that really sticks out to you?
Well, a real new highlight in my life right now is going to be this interview because you just said I was in number 2, which is really a shitty thing to say. But okay, but I do actually. So, you know what? I had a lot of great moments in the movie and making the movie. You know, there's really, honest to God, my career was short, but it was sweet, and I did really fabulous things that are remembered. And I'll tell you something. In your fantasies, I think everybody's fantasized at least once about being a movie star. Do you know what I mean? And it's forever and ever, I am a movie star.
Yeah.
I mean, I may be an interior decorator, I may be homeless and living on the corner. But when I die, when I do die, the New York Times is going to say, Mark Patton from Nightmare on Elm Street passed away today on this, overdose of crackers. So
I hope it doesn't come to that.
So for me, no, way too grounded for that. But the thing is, you know what? That's the experience of being a movie star. You know what I mean? It's that's a little boy's dream come true. And for me, in that moment, I became a movie star.
Yeah.
I walked into a movie theater in Times Square, and nobody knew who I was. And I walked out, and everybody knew who I was. On Halloween of 1985.
It's a great year, by the way.
Thank you.
Do you think you'll maybe composite a lot of these stories into a memoir or a book or anything? It sounds like it would be such an interesting read.
Well, actually, I started writing, and I wrote Jesse's Lost Journals, which I really loved, and is selling really well, and you can buy it if you want it on my website, which is www.markpatton4d@WordPress. I'm so old. I actually said www. Okay, but that's the address. So I want you to get it right. I'm a Virgo. But you know what? I've had offers to write my memoirs, and I couldn't decide whether to do it. I had an offer to write a book about Come Back to the 5 and 9 Jimmy Team, which I know you like.
Amazing movie, by the way, YouTubers.
And that book is already spec'd out, and it's just a chapter on each girl that was in the movie, and through my eyes. And when I was 25, and that was a Broadway moment of history, right? And people keep coming to me for my memoirs, and I feel comfortable now. I think I'm ready to do it. And I have some really good stories to tell, and I have some really great ideas for titles. Don't you think it would be fabulous? I was thinking My Nightmare on Elm Street, which is so easy. But then I actually thought I would like it to be called Scream, Queen, exclamation point, My Nightmare on Elm Street. Because it did turn into so many different things for me, and I think that would be fun. So, And then if it was Jimmy Dean, I was always going to call it Sincerely Mark. I was there too, So that would.
Awesome.
I just was asking you about a project that I know you've thought about being in, and you're not quite sure, but another gay horror film star, Anthony Perkins, and I know that, he died of HIV, and that's a subject that's very important to you, and he sort of dealt with a lot of difficulties in his career around being a closeted actor, so I just wonder if you could talk about that.
Yeah, that's been suggested to me by fans, and it's I got the book Split Image, and I opened it, and it just scared me so profoundly, because, I really identified with him, and then Barry Berenson died in the World Trade Center, his wife, and he died of AIDS. And my partner, my first lover, died of AIDS in the early wave, and then my brother-in-law died in the World Trade Center. So those kind of things are I could really tap into what that feeling was like. And also, I saw him on What's My Line, and I was so surprised because I really only knew him from Psycho and China Blue, and my favorite movie line of all time is when he's at the Peep Show and he does the anal and he says, "I've come to save your soul, cocksucker." So I would pay money to say that in a movie, right? So the more I think about it, the more we play with it. I'm working with some people who are bringing a show to New York, which I'm thinking about doing, which is called Pink, and it's a really nice play, and you'll probably hear more about that, I hope. Anthony Perkins is definitely on the radar for me, and it would scare me to death, honestly, and I just really need to be scared to death, because I'm one of those people, I'm really lucky, and, a lot of people are blessed, but I just walk up to doors, and if I'm willing to touch it and walk through it, the door just opens for me, and it's always been that way. in everything that I've ever done. And I feel like I'm being called home, if you know what I mean. And it's like New York is calling me back, and it's sending out nets to grab me. And it's like, I've never been a fool. It's like when a door opens, I walk through it, you know. And I deal with it when I get on the other side. Even if there's no floor, I've been there where there's no floor, and I slip. So I'll be fine.
Well, we are definitely looking forward to embracing you back in New York. So, yeah, I guess we can kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Very much. You're welcome. This is my glove.
So everybody, Mark Patton, thank you again for the exclusive, and be sure to check out all of his social media and all of his upcoming projects so you can see him as well. All right, take care, YouTube. This is David from Monster Nation, and we will be seeing you soon.
Bye, guys.